Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Shirt Social, your bi-weekly YouTube show that looks at the wonderful world of football kits. I'm your host, Tony Jameson. Joining me, as always, is my right-hand man, Si Maggio. Si, how are you, buddy? You well?
I'm very good.
He's a man of few words this week, apparently. Which is
fair. There's four people. See, we got to, spare some.
That is fair. Normally we'll bounce it around with three of us, but we've stretched ourselves out. The budget's gone a little bit further. We can welcome in two guests this evening. So we've got Charles and we've got Mitch from the non-league footballshop.co.uk. Fellas, pleasure to have you on. How are you? Are you well?
All good. Better than the weather. It's absolutely started to belt down here. So, all good.
Yeah, appreciate you inviting us on. It's a pleasure as well to see you in two of our kits as well that we've been
well, this is the thing. We didn't want to set it up, but I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Charles. The weather's glorious up here, by the way. Like, I've had sun cream on and everything today, but I mean, that could be 6 degrees and above, but we've had proper sun
to be
today.
Fair, it's just turned. It's been really nice, but when you get them thunderstorms, it's just kind of hit now, to be honest.
It'll be on its way. And yeah, Mitch, as you say, we are wearing the kits that have been from the shop. We'll get into that properly as we go through. We'll explain, what we do, why we've got you boys on. We will, of course, talk. We'll talk kits. Let's go with it first of all. Then, Charles, we'll go with you first. What's the what's the kit you're wearing tonight?
So I've got the FC Maybank inspired Biggie Small shirt. So essentially, we worked with a brand called Fuse Sports to create a few of the weird and wacky shirts that you may have seen on the website. This has probably been one of our most popular ones. It kind of went quite big on Twitter. So essentially, I think there's a famous image of Biggie Smalls in like a Coogee jumper. I think that's how you say it. And essentially, we obviously used the design of that along with Fuse Sports and created the kit for a local Sunday League team, which is Maybank. And then we've sold quite a few. It's been one of our most popular ones. Love the shirt and still wear it. That's the one. Fantastic.
Yeah, we just brought it up there. We were one of those. There's three, isn't there? There's three kits.
You got it.
But they're all sort of designed up, and they are absolutely stunning.
I want the GTA one. That's the one.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Vice City was the GTA game that really got me into the Grand Theft Auto series as well. So it's kind of, it's got that little bit of iconic in the back of your mind, the Tommy Vercetti link up. But yeah, they're all class. Obviously, we're going to be biased, but I genuinely really do. And the comfy shirts as well.
Yeah.
What's the third one? I don't know if you have the third one still.
So it's the Rasta shirt.
Yeah. It's the old Fields one, is it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Oldfield. Okay,
yeah.
I've gone by the club. That's why.
Right. We got it.
Yeah.
See,
Look
at that again. That's stunning.
Yeah. So essentially, it came out. Don't get wrong. After the Ajax kit, and some people are like, "Oh, did you kind of copy it?" But genuinely, we had kind of like this Rasta idea, pretty much at the same time, to be honest. But again, being biased, I definitely think ours tops it. But the actual detail in that one is really nice. It's kind of got the light little hexagons. I think you can't really see it unless you see it really up close. But yeah, that one, there's more than just the initial image of it as well. It's really nice shirt.
Stunning, sire.
Yeah, I like them. I've had them on my wish list for ages. I think even if you go on my TikTok, I think those are the ones that show, because there's like a shopping tab you can add on TikTok. And I added those ones straight away. I was like, right, those ones look cool. Get those on there. And this one as well, I think.
Yeah.
Love that one. Yeah, so
fair.
I think the Pac-Man one you've got on is probably our biggest ever selling shirt. So rest in peace, Soccer AM. But it got on Soccer AM. It was featured as well. So it's always our claim to fame a little bit. But yeah, I love that one, to be honest.
It's new Craig Leaf. Go on.
I was going to say we had a lager one as well. So from the same manufacturer,
somewhere left here somewhere.
Now originally we had it had the 10-inch sponsor on the front, but we had to get removed just for obvious reasons. So then we thought, let's have a spin off on this, and we got in touch with like a brewery within New Craighall, so in the heart of Edinburgh. Look, do you want to be on the front of the shirt? So they kind of replaced the sponsor. Everyone still had it. It still had loads of pre-orders, and like Charles said, went on Soccer AM, went viral. It's one of them shirts you wear on holiday as well. Same with like the GTA, I think. You know, you don't see many people with that coming down for breakfast.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely. You don't see many people come down for breakfast in the morning wearing it, which is, you know. But I hope maybe this next year you might, because they're selling so well, you might start seeing more people in them. So
yeah, just to jump in on that one as well. Some of the lads wore it to the darts as like a fancy dress night. So somewhere on Instagram, there's a great picture of like 10 lads all in the top as well at the darts. So it's a good one for that.
It's good. It's nice. It's got lots of nice details on it as well, and the material's nice for the summer. It's like aerated, so
yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm doing a shirt sales pitch for you guys now.
Yeah, well,
but I do like it. And this one as well, the Pac-Man. Was there a Space Invaders one as well? Do I remember?
Yeah.
That was with Few Sport, that one again. So we did, I think we had another concept one. So there was a Space Invaders and then like a rum shirt. So Admiral's Old J Rum. We had that one on the front as well. They're the kind of the main 5 from Few Sport. And then we had them 2, the Pac-Man and the Larg one from Appin Sports. But yeah, in terms of like, we're just trying to bring funky and unique concepts into the footballing shirt world. And like you're wearing there, the gingerbread one. Which is we thought, you know, because not everyone wants to wear Christmas jumpers, do they? So when Christmas comes around, t-shirt can always be a good one, especially if you're in a hot room.
Well, this was the thing. So, like Si and I, we have a thing on the show where every month we treat ourselves to a kit each, and it's a little sort of like mystery shirt gift. You know, we set ourselves a little budget, and we go, right, let's buy something that someone thinks we might like, and this was my Christmas present from Si. So it turned up, and I was like, right, I'm gonna get it on. We've had it on before, and I've sort of like held up. I'm like, I'm Mr. Fucking Tumble here, aren't I? But it's a belter. Like it's just. Yeah, you know what I mean? Look at that. Like, I was like, I've got to wear this. Got to wear it. It's like, I considered wearing I bought this one, the Loch Ness.
Yeah.
Class. Yeah.
And again, like it's so good. But I've done this fits properly. This is a proper fit. This one, I've either done not enough cardio or I've done too much weights. It doesn't fit. so that is not a large, right? That's player issue. And I don't know in Inverness how athletic they are, but I look like a Dharma Traore in it. So I was like, I can't really have that on. So we've gone with Hoik instead. But Mitch, what about yourself? What have you got on there, pal?
Well, probably one of the first shirts we ever did, really. So again, Oldfields FC is our local Sunday League team. So you might see them on a lot of the concept shirts because they allow us to use the badges. I know sometimes with clubs can be a little bit iffy on can we use your badge on shirts, so on and so forth. So a lot to start with used Oldfields, and this was probably one of the first home kits we did. And like I say, we know a lot of the lads in town. It gets a good rep out from them as well because, you know, they're on social media and they're quite a good Sunday League team really as well, winning leagues and cups. So, and apart from Utoxeter Town being our local, Oldfields FC play at Utoxeter Town as well. So it's kind of like a club in one. So it felt fitting to, you know, sponsor them out. We put our logo on the front of that home shirt, but they've got an away shirt as well with us on, and they're having another shirt again next season. So, like I say, there's going to be some good Sunday League kits coming out in the next 2-3 years, 100%.
Oh, it's amazing. That's what Si and I were talking about before we hit record. We thought, like, because we've obviously been doing this show for a little while now, we've talked about, you know, we're in sort of that new kit territory of like that sort of like all the new kits are being released. And it just gets a bit boring, doesn't it? Looking at template after template after template, and like looking at this story where you're like, so well, we designed the kits for our local size, and like seeing non-league teams being able to take a bit of a risk, being able to go, hey, you know what? Let's do something funky because people might buy it, and it's a few extra quid in our coffers, and it just helps everyone. So, like, so I suppose the question, if I reverse engineer it back, what came first then, the football kit shop or the idea to start branding for your own Sunday League teams?
It's a good question. So we actually started with our non-league mystery box, and you know, it was kind of when, you know, mystery boxes were at the peak. Don't get me wrong, hold our hands up, we jumped on the bandwagon, and the spin was, you know, sending out shirts that, you know, people might be on their back door, they've not seen before, but obviously with the non-league element. So the one thing we always said that the shirts are going to be sourced from the clubs or local manufacturer. And to be fair, we pretty much stick by that. Unless essentially it's like a, you know, a past season shirt, which is, you know, picked up from a fan or eBay, Vinted, whatever it may be, which is on the store. But in terms of where we started, and, you know, shout out to TikTok. So we actually blew up quite big on TikTok. We were one of the first TikTok shops in terms of kind of like football shirts. So it snowballed from there. So in terms of sales, in the early days, it's probably like 75% mystery boxes and then 25% shirts on their own. But it's probably flipped now. We still obviously do the mystery box, and it's really got great reviews. But in terms of sales, we kind of transitioned to where it's like 80% of the shop, including like the concept shirts, and maybe 20% of the mystery box now. So it's weird how the business is always evolving. Like the concept shirts probably came about maybe a year and a half ago, and they're still such a mainstay within the business today. But vice versa, as we've grown as well, we get so many actual non-league clubs just contacting us direct to the end of the season. So, if they've got shirts left over, match worn or replicas, they'll just sell them straight to us. And then we obviously put it on the marketplace of non-league football shop, which is great. I mean, some of the large clubs like St Albans, Alton Town, just to name a few, the relationships we have, that they've come back now probably 2-3 years since we first started working with them, is great, because it's nice to see that we've got that niche. Everyone knows about classic football shirts, but luckily it seems to be a place in the marketplace that they've never really dominated on the non-league side. So it's proud to say that I'd like to think we've cemented ourselves as kind of like the go-to place for any non-league shirt, be it past season or your retros as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, Si, isn't it? Because like we've obviously seen, so like obviously we work in like the field of Football Manager, like we're streaming that, we do sort of like videos around that sort of thing. So people, of course, will talk about non-league shirts and like sort of like mystery shirts, for like sort of ideas for saves and that. And it's always there's some great kits and people are doing fantastic work for it. But we do myself particularly non-league saves, and sometimes it's difficult to find the shirt of the club. And then when we saw this for the first time, it was like, oh, hello, this is what we've been looking for, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, I always used to do it every year. My save was not starting with a non-league team and seeing how far I could take them. Last year it was having at Waterlooville, which was my local growing up, or my local that was in the game growing up. But if you could find one that's got like a nice kit, an interesting kit, I think it adds something. If you could wear that while you're playing the game. A lot of them are like fashion items now as well, especially the non-league ones. Like sometimes you see people wear these shirts. I've seen a few, people just wearing the shirts around, like nowhere near the club at all. Like, I mean, obviously I'm not in Scotland, and this is a Scottish team, and I think that's really interesting. And I've got a few Welsh ones as well. And I think the other thing is you lose a lot of the tribalism. There is still a lot of tribalism probably in the area, but like if you're wearing a Manchester City shirt in Coventry, Liverpool fans or whatever will be a bit, or Manchester United fans or Birmingham fans or wherever will be a bit funny. But if you wear like this, people are interested. What's that club? What division are they in? Where do they like? No one's overly protective about it. No one's like criticizing your team. It's way too far low down for anyone to be too worried about, which I think is interesting, and it gives you a bit of freedom to try some things, and it lets people like I wouldn't buy a league club football shirt for a team other than my own team, but non-league, I've got some hashtag shirts. I've got a couple of the Tour Sports ones. I've got these ones. I mean, okay, they're Welsh and Scottish, the Tour Sports and these ones, but yeah, I think it certainly opens up the opportunities. What made you think get like? Why did you decide to start with non-league originally?
We just started to buy, and it started off as like a buying and selling kind of thing, and then we needed that kind of that foot in the market of what's different, what aren't people doing, and we're like non-league, like you look on a lot of the club shops, and let's be honest, a lot of the clubs are set up to be part-time, so they might not have time to run a club shop. To list them online. A lot of clubs might not be VAT registered, or they might want the cash, which is fair enough, which you understand. So then we're like, look, let's try and get a stock going together. And like Charles said, it started off with a mystery box where we kind of got the capital in. We started getting shirts in and out, different teams in and out, and then that's when we started working with the clubs. Then, and then we're like, look, it's a platform for the clubs. Even if someone has a shirt from us, they might tag the club on Twitter. They might tag them on Instagram, which then might get another fan at the game. So, like, that might get their gates up. Then it might be a case of, we can buy merchandise from the club as well. So like it's all just getting fans into non-league, because to be honest, we didn't know much in terms of, if you asked us 4 years ago about teams in non-league, apart from obviously on FM, we wouldn't probably have much of a clue. But now, like when we see shirts just floating about, like, oh yeah, that was Redditch United shirts from 2 years ago or something like that, it's crazy. And we would just want to give that platform for the non-league clubs. Really, that was the main goal.
So that's a really, really interesting point, right? And like what I was trying to think about when you're saying there about, we went with the mystery box first, and then we started branching out. Like in my head, I was trying to sort of work out, okay, if someone's setting up a company like that now, like a job lot of football kits tends not to come with non-league kits. Like, so it's easier to set it up without the non-league branding, yeah? So you've got to go and find a whole bunch of non-league kits first, which isn't easy in the first place. And then you're trying to ship them off and then replace as you go. Like, talk about making it hard for yourself, fellas.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was hard. I don't get me wrong. And there came a point, I don't know how much you watch TikTok. There was a guy who blew up called Ollie Ball. They used to do like food reviews, and we sent him a shirt, and essentially it blew us up, and the video blew up, and I think we had hundreds of sales. We couldn't believe it, and it essentially exactly that. It just wiped us out. So we're at this point now. Sales were coming in, and we were literally one in, one out. But then we started off maybe with ones and twos, and then I think that's how we started to then approach local manufacturers, and then we started to buy in bulk, and it just kind of snowballed from that, really. But you're definitely right. We definitely used to be, one in, one out, the odd club here. But the beauty of non-league is we'll often get a shirt in or a bunch of shirts, and we'll never see them again because they're so limited on their runs. That they are a limited edition, like every shirt is to an extent, but there's a real niche, and there's even teams in maybe like the National Leagues we've never stopped before. So a good example is Buxton in National League North. You cannot get a Buxton shirt anywhere. You look on eBay, Vinted, personal fans, they're just not available. And pleased to say it's a club that we're now working with, and we've just got in last season's shirts as well as some match ones. But when we got them, even we looked at each other like, wow, finally. I think it's like one of the final National League clubs we've finally stocked. But luckily I think we used to have a wall chart of the clubs, and we used to tick them off as we used to at least get one in. I think that was the last one, to be honest. But it's mad, really.
Was there not a moment when that one came in, then the Buxton one? Did you not both look at each other and go, "This ain't for sale. This ain't for sale. We've had to go too far. This is the equivalent of the 1988 Holland shirt. We're not selling it."
That's what it's like. That is what it's like.
Yeah. Sometimes the pricing's hard because there's no pricing to go off. Do you price it at 30 quid? Do you price it 50, 60, 70 and go from there? So we sometimes actually set the market price, and you don't want to rip anyone off by no means, and you don't want to also. We are a business at the end of the day, so it's a little bit tough. And sometimes we'll list something, and honestly, within half an hour, it's sold. And you're like, obviously, people must have like saved searches or something like that. And then we look at each other like, oh, did we do ourselves over there? Could we got a little bit more? But that's the fun of it. You learn it, you live and learn, and you at the end of the day, hopefully you're helping a fan get the shirt they've wanted for years. And at the end of the day, I think that's what our business is about: connecting people to non-league shirts that A, they've not been able to find, or B, they've never seen before. So it's quite rewarding at the end of the day as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm looking now at the Haven't a Waterloo shirts, and I was looking for one last year, and I don't know why I didn't think to look on your site, because I'd even spoken to you in the summer at the football festival, the football fair, retro football fair. That's the one. And I don't know why I didn't think. I think I asked you there, but I didn't think to look on the website, and you've got some on there. Maybe you didn't have them back then.
Could be.
Yeah, that would have been like, I was just thinking, that would have been good to get a Haven't a Waterloo shirt. You should do an FM box. Like
there is one. I've just scrolled past.
Is there one there? That's got dated for next year, but it's,
no, but that is new this year. We've worked with a few FM content creators, and from that kind of snowballed to that. We're like, look, let's do an FM mystery box, and we've both played the game for years and years, and one thing that I've not been massive on is downloaded the mods to get the extra leads. I know some people do it, and it's great to do it, but I'm not very tech savvy, and I know I'd probably delete the file I need before I put the right one in. So I'm the same as everybody else who generally plays it. Just can go down to National League North and South. So it's stemmed that, and vice versa. It's a great way to also still discover kits that you've not seen before. I think a really good example in the news and stuff is Braintree Town. So Braintree Town is a club we've worked with for years, and they have a kit which is made by a manufacturer called Andreas Carter Sport, which is from Braintree. It's a really nice kit, to be honest, and it's really well put on FM as well, the picture. So every day you're still learning ourselves about new manufacturers and new kits and new teams as well. I mean, we never say how far up or down we go, because it starts at National League, and obviously as the pyramid goes down, like a pyramid does, the amount of leagues is crazy. I couldn't even tell you myself.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many teams, and they can move up and down so quickly as well. I guess the National League, National League North and South, and then the Isthmian and whatever underneath are pretty much like the top levels of that, because the money that you're at semi-pro level there. But once you get down from there, a team could go up 7 seasons in a row, 8 seasons in a row.
Sideways as well. Yeah, it's mad that how many go from like round Wolves. Obviously, we've got Midlands Prem and Northwest Counties, and depending on who goes up and down, they'll also go side to side. So it's a little bit crazy. It's hard to keep track of.
What I find interesting, and like from a shirt collecting perspective, obviously everyone's desperate to make sure that things are original, and they're checking tags and checking serial numbers and that. But you were saying before about the fact that most of these shirts are just that's what they've had in the club shop, or the player wore it. Like there's no way of verifying it. But like, have you ever come stuck on a couple of ones? Have you ever I mean, I know it probably sounds like a really stupid question now I'm saying it out loud, but like, has there ever been a fake that you've found?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the manufacturers we work with, I mean, going across the non-league sector as well, it'd be very rare you see many fakes. However, you might come across some if we were to buy, because we buy from fans as well. So fans want to recycle their collection for another shirt they may see in our shop. But you come across the odd one, maybe if it's Nike, but compared to like a lot of the general shirt sellers at the minute who are in that big fish market, they may come across a lot more than what we do. Because, for example, nobody's going to fake an app in sports shirt, a few sports shirt. You're only going to see your big brands faked. We obviously do our legitimate checks on any kind of retro ones, or any of them ones that have that like Nike template, if you could say. But you'll find it a lot of the manufacturers, like Kit Locker, one we work with, they'll just use a template. They'll come all with codes and everything as well, so we know they're all legit. So, and if somehow we ever do sell a fake, which I don't think we've done yet out of all our orders, we'll obviously come to a conclusion, refund, and get rid of that shirt. But it's hard to spot a fake, because no one's going to fake these kind of shirts.
I think essentially when you've got your older shirts on there, because I know you've got some older kits from there, like sort of that date back a while, then there's no way of verifying. Even like a top club, there's sometimes you might be struggling to verify it. But you're right, the idea that someone's going to go, well, it probably is that shirt from that match. Like, let's not beat around the bush. The only thing we might query is whether it was that match or a different match. Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think there might be a few clubs, so maybe hashtag or AFC Wimbledon or someone like that. But beyond those, even AFC Wimbledon, I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, with like the match worn ones as well, especially back in the early noughties, non-league clubs. Let's be honest, they probably only had 1, maybe 2 kits for that player. Probably 1 actually for the whole season. Probably, So it'd be very rare to see them. And I quite like our match worn range, like Charles mentioned earlier, like the working with St. Albans for the Enter Shikari shirts. They're such a good seller, and they just look so good. And match worn shirts, they just get rarer and rarer the years go on. And I think the naughty shirts are probably the best year range in terms of design and style. But then the more kind of look of the shirts coming up in this, 2023 onwards, like we've got now, they're the kind of in fashion kind of shirts as well. So it's a weird one. We cater for all markets. So some people like long sleeve, match worns, short sleeves.
I think just to jump in. Go on. Sorry, on the fake scenario, so one thing we have noticed, so we were obviously selling Wrexham shirts. I didn't want to mention Wrexham, but I have to. Wrexham shirts before the takeover, and we had a good amount in, and it's weird, obviously, seeing the amount of listings that now appear with obviously fake shirts. No, 3 years ago, no one faked a Wrexham shirt. 3 years later, everyone fakes a Wrexham shirt. So, you know, just to see how quick a market can get flooded by, you know, the fake manufacturers, it is crazy and it's scary as well, really.
Yeah.
What do you do with all your Wrexham shirts?
Oh,
luckily.
Oh, they sold. That's okay then. Has there been another team where that's happened, where you've been like, oh, they're not non-league anymore? What do we do? Do we?
I think when a team usually is doing well, they're popular. So it works kind of hand in hand. So.
Nope. Has he gone?
I think he's dropped off. Do you want to pick up on it?
Yeah, no, I think what he was going to say was, like, in terms of like this weekend, Romford, a good example. They've just won the FA Vars, and we've had a few of their shirts in stock. All of a sudden, we're like, hold on a minute, why are we selling, you know, 4 or 5 Romfords on this day? We're like, hold on, let's just check the results. Oh, they've just won the cup, and it's the same with Bromley. So we took over a lot of the supply for Bromley shirts this season. We've got a lot in stock and they're selling. Promotion final, they're like, everyone's like, can I get my kit for the weekend? Can we get it in time for the big game? They obviously won the game. Now, we and Charles always have the question mark of, like, because any team that, like you mentioned there, any team that gets promoted and out of non-league, it's a case of we can't stop. We've got to stop stocking them, really, because it could end up being, oh, remember that Luton Town kit from back in the early noughties? So we kind of get rid of that stock slowly. So, for example, I think we've only got now maybe 2 or 3 Chesterfields left from when we had like 10 to 20 different variants, and we've just got a few Bromleys left from this season, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's kind of an in and out process if they do get promoted, which is sad to see. But then we'd inherit, for example, this year, Forest Green and Sutton, I believe, have come down. So we'll try to start to get in contact with the club and get them in stock as well.
You're saying about teams that become popular with, like, you know, with obviously with on the pitch success. I mean, you know, Gateshead, of course, this weekend they've just won a cup as well, and again could potentially been promoted out of the Football League, and then, you know, through various means are still going to be in the non-league next season, producing some interesting kits as well. So they might be popular. Where I'm based right now, York City, over the last couple of years, they've had some really interesting kits that drew a lot of attention. Like, you must be sat there at one point going, please don't get promoted, please don't, because there's a lot of like you know, no one's really backing York City, but those kits from a couple of years ago with the Minster and the chocolate stripes, they were belters, weren't they?
Best one.
Yeah, honestly, to this day, I'd still say the York Minster is my favourite shirt, like, ever. I loved it. I think, you know, they were first to go with that, and a few other clubs have copied. Like Chester have got a similar one now. Yeah. But because they kind of, you know, the map on Atletico Mineiro, they kind of set.
This signal's gone again.
You have to pick the baton again, Mitch.
I think you're saying, like, just in terms of them designs for that season, you're just you're back, are you, Charles?
He's back.
Nope, it's me. Go ahead.
No, well, like I say, them designs of them seasons, like you say, and we got a couple in from the club shop, and they just sold out straight away. And then going on it as well, obviously, when Ryan Reynolds go back to Wrexham, when he took over TikTok sponsor shirt. Now, we sourced a couple from the club just so we could do some videos on as well. But then you'd see them end of season, they were going for like triple the price, for like 120 quid. And we were looking at each other like, can we justify selling a current season shirt for that much? So it's like, you know, and it's the same with any shirt, really. If we've got the one of, not the one of one, I'm sure there's plenty more out there, but in terms of online for sale, it's kind of like we want to make our margin, but at the same time, we don't want to overdo it and charge, you know, 100 odd quid for a shirt that's not worth that much. So,
what do you got? And again, I'm just scrolling through, I think, while Charles sort of like gets himself caught back up. It's something that Si and I mentioned before we hit record. Because of the nature of what you do with non-league, you're going to have clubs who maybe don't exist anymore, and you know that's going to really pump the price up in terms of, like, you know, how popular these shirts are. I've spotted. And again, this is maybe a bit of local knowledge as to why I spotted this one. The Darlington shirt, but not the Darlington FC shirt, the Darlington Hope and Glory shirt, which maybe was a team for about 3 weeks or something, and then went defunct. You managed to grab a hold of those, which is quite impressive.
I think they're quite a new team, actually. Darlington United, I believe, without checking, I'm sure they were formed like early 2020s, maybe.
Yeah,
2020, 21,
they
unless
went
they
up.
folded.
So what they did was they got an investor from abroad who said that they were going to put them back into the Reynolds Arena or whatever it's called now, like the massive football stadium that essentially folded Darlington in the first place. They were going to put the club back in there, and they actually got in touch with me and a few other people about sort of like trying to do some work. And we chatted away, and I'm on this call, and then here's all these Hope and Glory kits and that, and I was like, oh, this design pretty smart and looks pretty good. And then next thing I look back, I was like, everything had gone. I was like, oh, that didn't last very long then, but it was just interesting. I was scrolling through, like, oh wow, you managed to pick those shirts up, which I'm guessing are probably worth a few quid now, because did they ever get worn? We don't know.
That's the thing, yeah. That you don't know, do you? And I bet we've got a fair few on our site in terms of clubs that are defunct now and non-existent. I mean, all it takes is just for, because non-league's so niche in terms of fan bases, especially below the steps you go down, it might not be in demand as such on Google searches. But if you get that one fan coming along, like if me and Charles were to see a Burton Albion shirt, because we never see any floating about anywhere, and we see it, we want it, we'll pay it, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think we've priced them quite cheap as well, really. I mean, Open Glory is another manufacturer we work with, so they do a lot of kind of eco-friendly type of shirts, and you'll see that with a lot of the designs with North Ferriby. Another one, they had a nice kit a couple of seasons back, like a green and gold kit. They do a team as well, AFC Liverpool. I don't know if they still do them, which is kind of like FC United. When the all the trouble with the Glazers and the fans weren't happy, they set their club up. It was kind of the same with FC Liverpool. So, you come to see a lot of clubs that you didn't realise existed without being too rude. And that's where your knowledge just grows, and you just kind of, there's endless probably amounts of clubs on there that we don't realise we stock, and we just get fans coming along saying, have you got these? Have you got these? Buxton's a popular one like we mentioned earlier. Messages we get, have you got any Buxton? Have you got any Buxton? Now we can say yes. But it's crazy.
Do you think clubs are starting to look at, because before a lot of them had templates, maybe a Nike template or Adidas template, and stuck their badge on it. Do you think now they're starting to look at these other manufacturers? I think Fused, Hope and Glory, you just mentioned, Tour Sports, Appin, this one. There's probably a couple others who are starting to do more interesting things with the shirts. Do you think the big manufacturers are picking up on this as well and starting to do? I'm just looking on the front page and I can see there's like a Kelm one, there's a Kappa one, there's a few that are like interesting as well.
Good question. Sorry, I hope my connection's back. It's been a bit rovey tonight. Easy answer is yes. So like Macron definitely have picked up on this. You see Macron doing bespoke shirts now, all the way down to like Southern Prem, something like that. Maybe even I think Salisbury City have got one or had one, like the cathedral on it. That was really nice, and that was a Macron shirt. And as you mentioned, like the Calme ones for like Maidenhead, they had some. So short answer is yes. And I think it's partly because there's so much attention in that game, in this side of the game now. I hate to say it again, Wrexham was part of it, but then you've got like the Libertines on the front of Margate and Shikari we've mentioned. There's it's not just sponsors, it's also people buying clubs as well. I think the other day I saw some from Westlife or Boysen or something like that bought a club or got involved. It's really it's like a trendy, popular thing to do for celebrities, and with it comes the shirt. So it's a benefit for us. Don't get me wrong, but definitely the big boys are definitely noticing as well, I think, on the shirt side.
Well, actually, that's another question I was going to ask about. What's with all the bands, like music groups, are getting more and more invested in this. So the two you mentioned, there's Goldie Looking Chain on one as well. Is there a Motorhead one or something as well? I think there might be. Or
a past one, it's an old Scunthorpe or something like that.
Did they just make their own?
They are on the front of something. We'll put it on Instagram before now. I want to say it's like a youth team or something. There's a mad story on it, but yeah, you are right. I don't know really. I mean, it's like even like Ipswich Town have got Ed Sheeran sponsoring, so it seems to be a trend throughout the Football League and even into non-league. Don't know, non-league's a bit cheaper for them, I guess, and they can connect with their hometown club, I guess. So yeah, we're here for it.
Yeah, I think it just adds to that sort of like cool factor. I hate to use that phrase because it is a little bit like overused, but it is like it's I guess because the Premier League, if we say the Premier League and La Liga and Bayern Munich and PSG, it's all too glossy and too like it's just like a marketing machine. And like you walk into any high street store and they've all got those kits in there. Like we joke on like saying about you lads are struggling to source Burton Albion kits and Buxton kits. Like in York, try and find a York shirt. Like you just can't. Like ironically, you can't find a York shirt in town. Like it's madness. Whereas you could pick up a PSG shirt comfortably. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like so, if you can make that local club connect with the audience and the community, which I guess is obviously what non-league's all about, is community. Then it does give you a bit more of a sense of pride of being like, hey, we got these guys on the front of our shirts and they're making that. And isn't this cool? This is much better than, I just say, generic Nike template 7 in yellow. Like it's just something a bit more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And like you say, with the Nike shirts as well, I mean, look at the prices. 100. I mean, don't want to start another debate, but the England kit, I mean, just for a fan version is what, 90 odd quid?
Yeah.
And this goes back to seeing a lot of fakes online now. This is why you see it, because people can't afford that. God forbid be the day where in non-league the clubs start charging that much, but I don't think they ever will. I think it's more of a top tier kind of system for them in terms of the Premier League and big national teams from your Adidas and your Nikes. However, we try and follow with the market, in terms of we don't charge any more than what the club would do. And if we were to look at to get current season shirts in, we kind of let the club have that initial, kind of first 5-6 months having that shirt in at the start of the season, because we don't want to take the sale away from the club at the same time. It's a tricky one to balance with. That's why we tend to get in touch with the clubs kind of end of the season. But they have a lot of like match worn or old stock in that they just can't shift, or a lot of clubs do a load of sales as well that we can never get to because they want cash in hand. So I think we missed out on one at Dulwich Hamlet the other day. They produced some nice shirts, but yeah, no, it's pricing's a funny one.
Well, we had an interesting one because so Blythe Spartans have just brought out their 125th anniversary shirt, and we covered it on the show. And obviously, we do these sorts of things. We've waxed lyrical so much over the AAIK and anniversary shirts. They're all like 125 quid or 200 quid or whatever, and we've sat there going, "Oh, but they're so beautiful." And then Blythe brings out this one, which is also an absolute belter, and then we're like, 45 quid. Like we almost were like surprised that like such a thing can be a normal price. We're like, that feels really weird, to be honest. It just took us back. But of course, you try telling someone in Blythe it's 125 quid for an anniversary shirt, they'd just be like, no, it's not. Nope, we're not paying it. Simple as that.
We don't pay it. That's the thing. That is the thing nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice design as well. And but if you like you say, if you saw that in the Premier League and it's a special edition shirt, if you're with one of the big boys, slap another 50 quid onto that. And we always say to each other, like, we can't, when we put something at kind of like the 44.99, 49.99 for a current season shirt, we kind of talk to each other first and say, look, do you think that's okay for a fan to buy? And then our margins here and there. So it's kind of like keeping both parties happy, our margin, so we get our margin in, but also we don't want the fan to feel a bit, bloody hell, we're overcharging there. You only see your big numbers come out on the retros because they really are like one of so many that are left. Because you got to think, I mean, we're 30, 31. When we were a kid knocking around in the park, you used to knock around in the early naughty shirts, not caring the world because they used to be 20 odd, 30 quid. Now they're probably worth, if you still got in excellent condition, near 3 figures. So it's a funny one.
Yeah, well, we just on last week's episode, I've just dropped 90 quid on a long sleeve Sunderland shirt from 99. I nearly did the same with an Eric Cantona one this week, but I was just like, but yeah, you're right. I mean, again, I'm all I'm doing is just scrolling through here, and there's so many shirts that I've not seen that I'm just like, I can't even believe. Like, I'm pretty clued up on football, but there's so much stuff that I've never seen before. But if we talk pricing, and maybe I'm the only one, and I don't know from yourselves, boys. I've got 2 kids, right? And they're not into football yet. We spoke about this, Sinai, on the show. They're not into football yet. But if they do get into football, and say, for example, I'll tell them, right, look, here's a Sunderland top. You're going to fancy this. And if by some chance they say yes, they won't, right? But if by some chance they say yes, it's what? It's 70 quid for my shirt, and then it's another 40 quid for their shirts. I mean, for 2 kids who aren't really that bothered, that's a lot of money, isn't it? And you can sort of, we had an episode with Trek on where he's sort of going, you can almost justify the fake route at that point, and you don't want to have to think it, but you've got to look and go, oof, nearly 200 quid.
Yeah.
What's your local non-league team then, Tony? That's got to be.
So this is the interesting thing. So local non-league teams, we've got obviously York are fairly non-league. Tadcaster is possibly an option. We could go there maybe, which would be quite good. But even going back up the road, like, I mean, so many from back up the road. Obviously, you got Blythe Spartans, you got Asherton, you got Spennymoor, you got Hebburn, you got like Crooktown, like loads of team, Darlington, so many. But I'm now in, and there'll be people shouting at the thing now, going, like, I'm in Yorkshire. Where's my local non-league team in Yorkshire? I guess Harrogate Railway, possibly, but there's nowhere that's just on my doorstep. Like when I grew up in Washington, there was a little team in Washington that was like pretty much a Sunday League team, but then so many non-league clubs around it as well. Newcastle Blue Star, Gateshead. Like it felt like there was a lot. Whereas in York, I feel like I've got York City, and that's about it, really. Which again, I'm struggling to get the boys to say, look, this is what football's like. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be 4 people on a cold day with a Bovril. That's what football is. Sadly, it's not the telly program that you're watching.
So, Charles,
no, I agree. I mean, yeah, just on your point then, Tony. There's definitely pockets of the country that love non-league. It's weird, and the Northeast is definitely one of them. I think I saw a attendance figure the other day. It's like Easington Collieries versus Newcastle Blue Star, and there's like over 1,000 there, which is amazing, really. But that's it. I mean, obviously going back to like TikTok, it's the platform that blew us up. We cringe every day when we put a video on there, but you get people commenting, and you can tell that they're a younger audience. And I'd like to think along the lines of us doing the TikTok page and our videos, that we've actually just brought that larger awareness, especially to that younger generation, potentially what non-league is as a start, maybe their local team, and just to remember a few teams. If they'd be interested in a kit, then look, that's amazing. That's where we come into it. But just even the element of, getting that awareness of this side of the game, is definitely part of what we do as well.
And so I suppose for us with FM content, we mentioned at the start of the show, non-league, it's where we get involved in it. And you mentioned earlier on, boys, about tagging the clubs in the tweets, and like, you buy your shirt, you have your bit of success. That's what drives us. And there's been loads of people who've managed to get bits and bobs off the back of it. I mean, I've worked with Blythe Spartans historically. Our friend Y Callum has done a load of work with Slough Town again. I think it's come from yourselves as well.
Yeah,
via that. And I think he was putting, going to games and stuff there, and giving team talks and that. So it all just sort of like works out, doesn't it, Si? Like that's what we're after, right?
Yeah, I found like if you tag them on Twitter or on TikTok, they love it. They always respond. I've even put out TikToks where I've not mentioned them. I don't remember who it was. It was Havant Waterlooville, or it was Leamington. I think it was Leamington. And I was just doing a quiz. I like basically cut the badge, like just left a tiny bit of the badge. And like one of the first responses was them saying, "This is us." Like it was just like whose badge is this? Take the name out of it, and they were like straight away, "This is us." So, yeah, they just like pick up on it straight away, and you're not going to get that at a big club, and that's what I like about that. It just makes you like it gives you a little boost as well. You're like, oh, these are real people. This isn't some big corporate machine. It's just a local club of people who are excited about their football team, and they love to be mentioned as much as you love to like hear back from them.
Yeah, is there any clubs that love working with you? Sorry, Charles. Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm just jumping on that. We even see people making like fan accounts now for players in non-league and in clubs, and it's mad because I didn't recognise seeing this like 2-3 years ago. So I definitely think it's come with the popularity of the game. But yeah, I agree. Sorry, Tony. Back to you.
I was just going to say, I think we've maybe touched upon bits of it as the show's gone through. But is there any clubs that like you love working with. Like, you know that whoever's like in there, they're just on the same level as you. Because I mean, we get a bit fortunate when we're sending tweets or TikToks or YouTube videos or whatever. You know, there's going to be some admins that are running the social media account who just don't get on board with it, or maybe there's the policy of not to get involved in it. But some just lean into it and they love it, like, and they just go above and beyond, and it gives you that thing of like, we are all in this together. Like, is there anyone that you would sort of be shouting out, going, I love working with them, they're great?
Slough Town, probably a good one to start with. I think we're quite close with the chairman there on email. So, and that kind of worked hand in hand with Callum going there as well, which is pretty good. Another one, probably thinking we work well with, it's like Southport's probably another one. It's kind of any clubs really who are happy to work with us and let us recycle their stock and not feel, you know, we're taking a sale away from them. It's more of getting awareness from them, because if they can't shift the stock, they can't shift the stock. And then obviously our local club. So we're based in Uttoxeter. So Uttoxeter Town, we have a lot to do there. Charles does a lot with on the board there. I'm part of the board, but I'm probably more behind the scenes in terms of the kits. But Charles deals a lot with the social media there as well. So, like I say, we're on board with our local club, Uttoxeter Town. So whenever we can, you know, we always try and go down and support the local. Because, I mean, we don't, when we created our logo as well, we thought, do we have a little slogan? Because it was literally just drafted up in, be honest with you, in 5 minutes. We're like, what slogan could we have? And we're like, think football, try local kind of thing. So that was the kind of ethos behind it. And so, you know, Uttoxeter Town's probably on the top of the list for us, even though sometimes we only get anywhere between, you know, you can go from 30 all the way up to 80 on a gate. But, you know, an extra person in is more money to the club. So, yeah.
It's really good. I feel like when I met you at the Retro Football Fair last year, and I thought I was going to be looking around all the others. I spent most of the time looking through the shirts because there were clubs I'd never heard of, and some of them are probably only 5 minutes away from me. Or there was like shirts I was like, I've never seen this shirt. I've obviously seen every PSG shirt for the last 5 years, but I've never seen this shirt. And this is like, I think this is interesting that small clubs are starting to do this, and like, I'm going to buy a shirt of a club that I've never heard of, which I wouldn't have done before. Like, I would have been like, oh, I just don't know what that club is. It's just a plain blue shirt. Like, it's just an Adidas template or whatever. Whereas now I think, no, that's a really cool design. What's the club? Okay, this is the club. You know, this is where they're based. This is what division they're in. Sometimes maybe they have some kind of ethos or, you know, some ethical base, or like some story behind them. You know, there are quite a few clubs with interesting stories behind them now. Obviously hashtag is a big one, which I think has probably helped a little bit in the game. AFC Wimbledon obviously went up through the divisions. I think Salford obviously, but then there's even ones which are like, you know, we even know some that like smaller creators have gone and created, or, you know, ones that are local bands and stuff have supported. That's probably why you get some of the bands. And I think that's interesting. You get you get more human stories around these clubs.
Even your clubs like Lampwood Major as well, who like have leaned into it and then fallen out the car and then got back in again like half a mile down the road. Like, they've properly gone for it and just almost made it their marketing strategy to be a bit off the wall, and to have these like crazy kits that people go like, all right, okay, let's get on board with this, and draws you in that way. Because again, I mean, what's the chances of anyone knowing Lampwood Major prior to a Mr. Blobby goalkeeper kit, or like a little lean on to like, oh look, that's that Georgia Campos's kit. It is, yeah. They've got a Jurassic Park one as well. What?
Yeah.
Like, and all of a sudden you're on board, aren't you?
That goalkeeper kit, the one you're on about, the Mr. Blobby kind of looking one. I think we've got long sleeve and short sleeve in that. So,
don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
And as well, going to FM, because obviously I think Lampwood Major are on FM this year. So like, we're very limited. We have like a suggestion box on a mystery box, and they're like, can you avoid English non-leagues? So we're like, right, okay. So I'm there on FM trying to find out, have we got any Scottish teams? No. And then the Welsh leagues. There's a couple in there. So I know a couple of our customers are probably working on a Lampwood Major save at the minute. So interesting to see where they're at. We always tell them, tag us on socials, let us know where you're at. And Lampwood Major are a good club actually on socials, especially Twitter, to get involved with a lot of the retweets and commenting on posts.
Yeah,
you can imagine they're pretty clued in with the shirts that they make. Like the same with Roger Stone. Like the two of them, Like,
Yeah,
Roger, the
class.
sponsorships that Rogerstone have picked up. Obviously, they got Tiny Rebel, which is a local brewery,
Yeah.
but it's a big local brewery now. Like they have also spread in the last 5 years every supermarket. We had a running joke for the first 10 weeks that every week I'd turn up with a Tiny Rebel beer in my hand and probably a Tiny Rebel shirt nearby.
They haven't sponsored us, so he's not drinking it on
no,
stream anymore now. So
that's it. So if Stuart Brewery want to get in touch,
well,
I'll happily switch to a lager.
Just with Lambert, by the way, as well. You're saying there about the FM box. We've got a friend of ours who again's been on the show loads. FM girl Alice, she's Welsh, so she wanted to do Lambert Major again. She got cracking on with the admin and back and forth and a bit of banter and stuff. And then during the stream, so she's a streamer, she had half the team like actually in the stream, and and she's like, like show me where I am. And she's like, soldier mate, soldier, you were rubbish. Like just like probably berating all these players. Like you need to do better. But again, I had it with like Banbridge Town in Northern Ireland, like players jumping in, and like you don't get that with Manchester United and PSG and Real Madrid, and I think that's the connection that you can build up, in these teams.
What about clubs that go the other way? So Yeovil, I imagine, like that's a team that's going. Are they going down again?
Come back up now.
Come back up.
Oh, they come back up, did they? Okay. But they went down last year, didn't they? Down to the south, right?
South,
which they used to be a league team for a long time. Like, you have their shirts, don't you? But from when they were in the league,
yeah. So we tend to stock like we do it if they're currently in non-league. So if they're in non-league now, then we can stock some. It's our rule in a way. We can stock when they had the Bradford sponsor. When they're in like League One and League Two, the famous shirt, we will stock that shirt. But you see a lot, you mentioned there, Yeovil coming down. There's some big teams in the National League now. It's almost like from 4 years ago. It's on par with League Two. I mean, just look what Stockport and Wrexham have done this season, going straight up. In you got Scunthorpe coming down the leagues.
Oldham, of course, came down a couple of years ago. Yeah,
it's a fair few big teams amongst in the National League at the minute, and it's getting a lot really competitive. So, like, you almost are watching in the National League sometimes like an EFL League Two standard. So, and you're getting your money's worth because it's cheaper to get in 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. And to be fair, like I just think that. I think that the angle you've got is brilliant, and to not be restricted to just English teams as well, like because it could be very easy for you to say, look, it's a heck of a job trying to source non-league clubs. We're only doing England. We aren't even attempting to go to the the Hebridean leagues or whatever. Like, so fair play to be able to source these like Scottish clubs and Welsh clubs, and I just think that it's like. It just opens up people's eyes, and not just people's eyes in terms of the actual website. I'm fairly new to Whatnot, right? I'm fairly new to it, but I'll be honest, and I'm not just going to say it because you're here. I do enjoy watching because I just sit and I'm like, wonder what I'm going to have a little snooze on here, and I just go, is there anything on there? And it's just, I don't know, that way of selling and picking up shirts for me now, it's like it's Si's fault. He's got me into it. Every single day I'm on my phone, just like, all right, who's got one now? Who's got right? I'm sitting and going, I don't necessarily need, this, Maidenhead third shirt, but hey, it's only £3. Maybe I do. And then by the time it's finished, it's like 42 quid. And I'm like, oh, well done. Someone's done well for that. That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen as well Si's name floating about in some of the live streams. I must say,
always. So every single one I'm there on the football street.
I'm probably on my my own account, my anonymous account, because I think Charles got login for ours. But I'm sure see your name floating about, which is always good.
Yeah. I picked up a 1986 Italy shirt for 32 quid yesterday. So.
I watched that actually.
Good play.
I was like, no, surely this isn't going to end right now, is it? I was like, this is going to hit 100, surely, or at least somewhere around 60 something.
I think that was that the stream. Was that the stream where someone said, "Can you let someone else win a shirt?" And it was just like, it's just messed with.
I think I did buy 4 in that one. Yeah,
combined
your
shipping, cheaper.
I'm always looking for the bargains on there. That's the thing. So especially if there's a new seller on there, I'll always go in and have a look because that's when there's less people in.
Yeah,
that's when you can pick it. It's not good for. It's good for the sellers that I go in, but it's not good for them that they haven't got many people. I think that is tough on Whatnot. Like I've been tempted to do. I don't know what you guys have experienced.
I think that there tend to be like a flavour of the month with these kind of platforms. Like we were obviously big on TikTok Shop, and then it's Whatnot, and then Tilt came along. To be honest, we're not really stuck on any at the minute, and exactly because what you said, with the audience, they go into one, then they go to another, then they go to another. But also the platforms as well change, like the commissions, they change the rules and regs. So it's supply and demand like any industry, and we ride the wave as much as the buyer does, and it's great because it gives us a new avenue to sell the shirts. But again, comes with it is that lifespan of it. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes 3 months, sometimes years. So at the minute, we're in a little bit of a transition period, I think, in terms of are we going to focus more on getting more actual team shirts in? Are we going down the concept route again? Do we go back to the mystery box? So I think we've really got to analyze which way. Don't get me wrong, we're still doing really well, and the business is touch wood flourishing, but I think we need to choose a direction again, because naturally it changes as well. But part of it probably 6 months ago was exactly what you said, jumping on these auction platforms, which were great, and they're great for the buyer as well. So yeah, if anyone listening hasn't seen them before, I'd definitely check out Whatnot or Tilt, or even a TikTok Shop if you've not seen it before. People's TikTok traditionally was the kids app, but now everyone's on it. It's addictive, and the TikTok Shops are part of it as well.
I think without talking about the business, what's your own collections like? Like, are you still got your own collections at home of like things that you desperately love, or like, is it just I've been working with football shirts all day, I can't go and buy more football shirts? Like, is your collection non-league, or is it something a bit different, or what have we got?
I mean, I'll let Mitch chat in a sec, but we both still do have collections, not as big as they have been years and years ago. Naturally, it's kind of that, do you have a niche? Do you go with your team? Do you go with a bit of everything? We are a bit of everything, and I don't have the rules and regs. I'm pretty much like you guys are saying, if I like it, I buy it. And in terms of non-league stuff, we recognise what we like and what we don't, but it's really weird because we run the business. We always kind of put the business needs first. So if there's a shirt that we both either own, sometimes we'll sell it to the business to sell again, which has happened a lot with, like, we touched on the York City shirt. So yeah, both have collections. It's probably 50% non-league and 50% bit of everything, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm probably, I've got a fair few, I would say fair few, about maybe 5 or 6 Burton Albion shirts, and then predominantly then just England. I try, and if I can, like Charles says, steer away from non-league, because if I'm in the office every day and I'm seeing the shirts, in my head I'm thinking, oh, there's the collection there. And I don't wear them, obviously, because they're on sale. But if I do choose to wear them, I will wear them, then put them in the wash kind of thing. So I kind of get my hit from non-league doing it that way. But yeah, personally myself, it's predominantly just Burton Albion and England shirts, really.
Tony, would you want to ask the guest questions, the every guest questions?
Oh, right, okay. The big question is, if we were to write you a check, it's a blank check at this point. If we were to give you a blank check and we were to put some writing on it, what would you buy? What would be your absolute GOAT shirt?
Yeah, football shirt.
It could be anything. It could be anything.
One shirt.
Just one shirt, yeah, just one shirt. Not we've had people said someone wanted a match worn 1966 England World Cup shirt. Somebody wanted the shirt that Roberto Baggio missed the penalty in USA '94 cup final in. So there's loads. Like someone, you know what? We say one shirt. Someone wanted the entire Ipswich Adidas template. That was their thing. So I was like, right, fine. This imaginary money's costing us. So if you want a collection, have a collection. But yeah. What would it be? What would be the best shirt for you?
Look, this blank check, I've got to go with, Messi's World Cup winning shirt in the final. I mean, it's the trophy you needed, the trophy you won. Imagine that on your wall. But you don't really need to explain it, do you? Really? But if that blank checkbook is there, I'm gonna go straight for that, I think.
Yeah, that one went for 7.8 million. So cheers.
Wow. Thanks, lads.
Yeah, you can follow us on Patreon.
I think I've just.
I didn't know they sold it actually.
I'm just looking now. Three. There were 3 shirts. 3 shirts. They sold for 7.8 million collectively. Yeah, they sold them at Sotheby's in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, Mitch, what about yourself? I mean, there's 3 Messi shirts going. So
You probably already mentioned it. Probably like the 66 final. It probably something to do with England, match worn shirt. Or if you want to write in the future, I'd have the 2024 Jude Bellingham match worn shirt after he scored the win against Brent in the final.
Yeah, we have mentioned Jude. So last week we were looking at Jude Bellingham, and a few weeks ago we had the question, like, if you could think of a player now who in the future their shirt is going to be like the iconic one, and you're going to associate something with it. And I said, this season's Real Madrid with Bellingham on the back. And if they win the Champions League, maybe, I think that could, because you sort of look back and you say, okay, you think of this player in this particular shirt, like an Henry in an Arsenal 0203 shirt, or Beckham in a 99 shirt. So it's like, I think Bellingham in this year's Real Madrid shirt, or maybe the England shirt, hopefully the England shirt. Tony's disagreeing, but
of course I'm disagreeing.
He's looking at Scott McTominay Scotland shirt.
You know what? It's funny you should mention that. I'm all Euros ready.
Go
on this week. Right? Go on this week. There's a new there's a new vintage shop opened up in York, and they've got some football kits in there. So I was like, I'm gonna get myself that. Here's a plug for you boys. On your website, there's a Stockbridge Park Steels Jamie Vardy shirt. So you talk about players synonymous with clubs. That's the one, right?
Yeah. Story on that one. So, as you know, for anyone listening, obviously Stockbridge Park Steels was Vardy's first club. So, going back to having one shirt, that he obviously had one shirt for the whole season, probably not in existence. And the club obviously got the official license to release a special edition shirt, which is the one on the site. And again, little plug, the only two retailers were the club and ourselves. So it was a great moment for that. They did a limited edition run. So I think we've literally got one or two left on that. But, it's a really nice. So originally it was like Le Coq Sportif. So Farrelly's got the license, which is a Northeast-based manufacturer. And, they got the permission to do a re-release shirt of it, which is great, really, because I imagine the original shirt is gone. It's probably disintegrated after the season, or you wouldn't save really a non-league shirt. I mean, a lot of the lads, we get the match ones one, or the club usually take them back and auction them, something like that. So
Vardy probably has it in his house somewhere, just hiding.
I'd like to think so. I'd really love to think so, but I mean, I'm not being stereotypical, but I am. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that who looks after his shirts, that kind of stuff.
Doesn't
probably got Red Bull on it,
does he?
Yeah, that's it. Sentimental, that's the way.
All right. The other question is then you're allowed to ban Room 101. You're allowed to ban one thing to Room 101 about football shirts. So we've banned. What have we banned in the past? Then
we've wanted universal sizing, which again I will attest to that. We've definitely wanted that. We've banned really deep round neck collars on shirts.
I picked up an awful one the other day. I don't know.
We also banned. What else do we ban? We banned a lot of collars. People get really angry about collars. I'm a big collar guy. Some people just like, no, it can't be done. What are we thinking?
So for me, you kind of touched on it with your Loch Ness shirt. I would like universal sizing for all manufacturers.
Yeah.
So one thing we really struggle with is, again, pit to pit and tight fit sizing, that kind of stuff. And when you're listening, do you put the actual size of the shirt, which is on the label on the listed, so it's a large, or do you put the size that it actually fits? So from kind of like a retailer point of view, it's a really hard one, because we'll always put in the notes, what it fits like, but some people miss it. I would, if you're rushing to buy it. So I don't know how you kind of put that into a sentence, but it'd definitely be a universal sizing for all manufacturers, I think, because it's an absolute nightmare when you're listing shirts.
Well, it seems obvious, doesn't it? Because if I tell you I'm 5'11", you know how tall 5'11" is, because that's just how tall things are, right? Like, but if I tell you that this is large, then you should be able to go, right, large is that size, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
A pint of milk is a pint of milk. It's not 3/4 of a pint of milk if you're somewhere else. Come on, sort yourselves out, everyone.
And I think when you order, a normal T-shirt, generally, it's there or thereabout. I'd say 75% of my T-shirts are, one size, but in football shirts, I'd say maybe 50% are all different between, whether you're going large XL or even 2XL sometimes for myself. I'm
finding as well, and I don't know whether this is just because I'm a self-conscious mid-40s man, right? But I'm going in more towards retro shirts because I know that large is large, and I don't want to have to buy extra large or 2XL at this point. I can't cope with that. Like, I've got to be like, no, I'm still a large.
Yeah,
I remember being at your stand and I was trying to work out the retro football fair. I was like, I picked up the Football Manager AFC #AFC Wimbledon, one of them, the Football Manager shirt, and it was like, this is a small, and like sometimes I can wear a small, sometimes I can't. And I tried on a small earlier, and I couldn't get it in, and I couldn't get it off. And then I tried on that one of yours, and it was like, oh, this is a perfect fit. And I was like, you can never guess, like how was I struggling on the other one?
Yeah. You've hit it there. I mean, we obviously put all the smalls in the small by the label when we do an actual real life fair, but you often find yourself saying, just double check the next one or try it on, for example, because there's no rule of thumb. As I said, do you put it in the section what it actually fits like, or do you do it by the label? So it's a headache.
It might not even be just like what it fits like for one person might not be the same for the others. Like sometimes Tony knows the collar, right? You can't get your head around it. Or sometimes the collar's really big or the arm is really thin. I've got a few like the Nike templates the last few years. They're small. That bit of the arm is really, really tight. The rest of it fits nice, but so sometimes it's the shape, particularly on player issue stuff as well.
Did have a running joke that I couldn't fit an Inter Milan shirt off my head. So that's why he mentions that one.
It turns out he was supposed to unstitch it. Like I joked that it was supposed to be like a suit, and you're supposed to unstitch the little bit at the top. Turns out you were supposed to unstitch the little bit.
I've had that shirt for 25 years. I've worn it 3 times, so it's worth a fortune. If it, So, but Mitch, what about yourself? What would you be banning, pal?
I'm kind of the same, really. It's just mainly sizing because I like collars on shirts. I like different variants of shirts. Like you were saying then, I prefer if I was to wear anything more of a early like noughties fit. Just how they fit, because I know I kind of like them baggy on my arms. Like you were saying, sometimes on the arms they might have cuff sleeves, same, or look like a rib collar, which makes it feel a bit tight around the neck. But yeah, probably the low collars, as in like the V shaped ones. And then, sizing. I just want sizing to be spot on, because there's times where I'm doing if we do a video, sometimes I put on the other day a 3XL South End shirt. Now, I'm never a 3XL unless I'm doing something wrong, but I mean, I'm XL normally. So I was like, gosh, this is quite tight for a 3XL. So it's a headache for us when we list them. So we kind of look on the manufacturer's website in terms of pit to pit and the sizing of them, just to make sure. Area's another one. Area's another classic example, especially Blythe Spartan's recent shirts. And Hartlepool, we've just picked up some remembrance shirts from the club, and like we've brought them in like a 5, 6, 7XL. However, they'd easy fit, maybe a 2, 3, and a 4. So it's a headache.
I think that's what they're saying on the Spartans website about the anniversary shirt. Going like, I think it's go at least 2 sizes bigger. And I was like, I think we joked. I think they go up to like sort of 5XL or something. I was like, oh no, was it 9XL maybe or something? They've gone like crazy, and we're like going, I don't think anyone's ever been that size before. Like, surely just scale it back to like, to small, medium, large XL. But it would help everyone, wouldn't it? Under Armour was another thing that got banned, by the way. That was another thing I remembered going, banned Under Armour, which fair.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't see much Under Armour in non-league. We do see an odd run one, and we touched on Gateshead, and Patrick is back in non-league with Gateshead. Yeah. So the Gateshead kit is actually a Patrick kit, which is pretty cool, I think, because I always remember growing up with Patrick footballs for some reason, the cheap ones you used to get. And, they remind me of Reebok. They've got that iconic logo. They're not the best brand in the world, but they're nowhere near the worst. And they're kind of iconic with that logo. So I'd like to see more Patrick kits appear over the next few years.
Yeah, I'm aboard with that. I'm definitely aboard with that. Hummel are making a big push again, aren't they? They're back with a vengeance. I'm back on the Hummels. Like, we're gonna have a great time. Umbro, Admiral. I'd like to see Admiral back as well. The
Cox 14 needs to come back as well.
Oh, doesn't it just?
Yeah.
And there was
Mitre.
Was it Paula Spinera? Paula Spinera. We have a lot of.
Yeah, we see that in non-league. Yeah.
There's a manufacturer, I think probably late 90s, early noughties, there was a manufacturer called Paula Spinera, I think. And they produce some really nice kits. I don't know if they kind of renamed or rebranded. But yeah, and another one was I think it's pronounced ISIS, ICIS.
Yeah.
Without thinking, they did a lot of 90s kits. You see a lot of them on retro kits, and they're beautiful designs. They are.
They definitely had to rebrand, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's just change the name of the company because we're not showing up high on Google for kits. Sai looks like he's rummaging. What's Sai got? Oh, he's turned his microphone off.
I'm muted. I was looking for this for the last few minutes because the collar on this, like
Sai, Portsmouth aren't non-league just yet, mate.
It's like it had a hole ripped in it. It's like this. I think that I bought this as a medium, and it's like so you can see like the rest of the shirt.
That is low.
But like, yeah, look, compared to the thingy one, I was like, this is all my chest hairs out.
Yeah.
Look how low it sits. It's like
was that
ridiculous.
Was that kit made by All Saints by any chance?
I don't know.
It feels like very much an All Saints sort of like.
Yeah.
I think it might be a women's one now. I look at it.
It's got
a size 14 in the top. I've just noticed, rather than a medium or whatever, which would probably put it as a women's, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I've been fleeced.
There you go. So Sai would like universal sizings and bigger labels to work out what it is he's buying. So that's interesting. Interesting, Sai. Well done.
I think it was a Whatnot, and I think it was listed as mediums. Actually, now I've just seen that it says 14. I might have to go back on Whatnot and flag that one. But oh well. You gotta buyer beware sometimes.
Fair enough. I think that seems a place we might have to start ending it now. So if we can't, I don't know where we go from that.
Oh, sorry, I just spent ages. It's because we were talking about the massive collar. I remember trying it on, and I was really disappointed. I was like, I can't wear this anywhere. I'll look ridiculous. But now it might have occurred to me that it is a very large women's size.
I hate to say it as well. It would have been a really nice shirt to get like a retro name set on, like a Defoe or a Crouch as well.
Oh yeah, 2005-06 that is. So it would have been.
Is it okay?
Yeah, we nearly got relegated that year. That's when Harry Redknapp left us. I don't even know who we had that season. Probably Sol Campbell.
There's a question then. So if you bought a retro shirt, because this is maybe something that I'm sort of trying to do at the minute as well myself. If you're looking to buy a retro shirt, maybe not necessarily non-league. Do you buy it with the name set on the back, so then you then got that player's imagery in your head, or do you buy the shirt and then go, well, that would have been X, Y, Z player, like from that era? What would be your preference? Name sets or no name sets?
For me, no. Maybe I'm thinking from the non-league perspective because back in the day there were just numbers.
Yeah.
But then again, like I just said to Sai, when I think of maybe Prem teams, it is nice to get that iconic name set, to be fair. So, I'm definitely on the fence on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I am as well, because I wouldn't buy a shirt with someone else's name on the back, because that's not my name, clearly. And I'm not the guy who goes and gets my name on the back of the shirt, because that's also weird. But now I'm in this sort of thing, trying to work out with the retro gear. I'm like, do I get a shirt that explicitly says the player that I'm in the mood for? Like, that's the reason I bought that shirt. Or do I just buy that shirt and then explain it?
No,
I'm sure. Mitch,
I
what
agree.
about yourself?
I think in terms of, it all depends what kind of collector you are as well. So, I mean, if it means something to you, so if you were at the game for that season, and let's say you won the league, for example, or I think I've got a couple with Burton Albion name sets on, like Hamza Chidari. He used to play for us fair few seasons ago. But I mean, for my personal collection, I probably had name sets on like international shirts. But like Charles says, with non-league, a lot of them just boiled down to, it was just purely numbers back in the day. So unless you've got extremely good non-league knowledge, you might not know what number that player was wearing at the time. So
just thought, I need a Robbie Dale Blythe Spartan shirt, long sleeved. The final match where he's the record appearance holder, record goal scorer. That's what I need.
Yeah,
I need to track that down.
Yeah,
I'm worth a few quid, that one, I reckon.
And I bet
it might be a case of.
Sorry.
I bet you'll never ever see one. Like it's the same with like the Vardy one as well. It's just, if someone's got that, it would reach some good money on bid. I like to think.
I would like to hope he's got it himself, and part of me thinks it will be behind the bar in the club. which is where he used to be after match days, like pulling pints of Guinness after the match. So I'd like to think it's behind the bar in a frame, but yeah, I wonder how much that would cost. That'd be quite interesting to find out.
Again, like there's videos of him, and it is just a number there. So it could have been a shared shirt, that kind of stuff. Is it actually Vardy's shirt? It comes down to that as well. So it's that's part of the debate in non-league, and it's a good one, really.
Yeah, no, I like it. Okay, cool. You know what? I think this has been fun. Genuinely, this has been fun. I know we've been trying to get this one sorted for a little while, so obviously glad we've been able to make it all happen. I guess if people are interested in the non-league football shop, where can people find you? What can they find? How can we get in touch via TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, all those places? Now's your time to plug your wares, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, so our website, you can search us on Google. If you search non-league football shop, we're on Google. It's nonleaguefootballshop.co.uk. That's the same for Instagram and TikTok. On Twitter, it's just non-league shop. And then obviously we have our email of nonleaguefootballshop@gmail.com. So if you want to sell us any of your non-league shirts, more than happy to buy it. Or if you've got any queries, we can, sort you out and try and source your shirts as well. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty much us covered on all socials, really. What do you think, Charles?
I think, just jumping in. One good thing, if you go on our website, there's a mailing list, and we're by far not really spammers at all. We maybe send literally a couple a month, but if there's any hot new shirts that we get in, the best place to be is just on the mailing list. So, yeah, pretty much it all. I just add that, but yeah. Appreciate you getting us on, guys, as well. Enjoyed it, to be honest.
No, it's been fun. It's fun. Should also say as well on the website, you do programs as well. So that might be another conversation for the future. The dying art of the match day program. Oh, talk about that for hours. Spot the old man in the corner over here. Definitely appreciate you getting on. And of course, if there's anyone in there who does FM and wants a challenge, then we would absolutely recommend the FM box. But again, you've got a lovely mystery shirt box in there as well, which could be anything. So go and check those boys out. Mr. Maggio, where can we find you?
Well, talking to mystery shirt, am I saving this, Tony? Or is Mitch and Charles judging it? All right, okay. Yeah. So every month, myself and Tony buy each other a mystery shirt. Tony opened his last week. You two can be the judge of who got the better shirt. So he got a 19. Our budget is £20, by the way. Okay. So we have to go £20 or less. He got a 1993 Italian referee shirt. Yeah. So
lovely.
Yeah, and we just been talking about what collection to start, and he decided maybe he would do 90s Italian. So it was perfect, early 90s Italian. All right, let's see if I can get this. Yeah. Now hide my address and now hide your address.
Hide my address.
It's like pass the parcel. Where's the sweets fooling now? I want like a drumstick. A lolly just fell out. Perfect. That did fall out of a football shirt thing. Sometimes they stick them in, don't they? Let's have a look. What do we have?
Right.
This is. I don't know what this is, Tony.
Right.
I mean, it looks like a Man United shirt, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
It's not. It's meant to be. Now I'm going to pull it up now to confirm it, because I had to ask a question on it straight away. I was like, "There's no way this is real," and apparently it was like, "Yeah, no, it's definitely real."
Urawa Red Diamonds. Yeah, I do know it. Is it? They are Kenyan or
Japanese?
South African. Japanese. Oh, is it actually a Japanese one?
Yeah, Urawa Red Diamonds.
Oh, yeah, because they're in Football Manager, aren't they, this year?
Yeah, J League this year. So I was like, you know what? That doesn't fit me, but it fits Sai.
Tell you, the free on the front's a bit rogue where it is.
It's interesting, isn't it? That's what was throwing me off. I was like, that's really weird. Plus, I don't see many Red Diamond shirts going. So I was like, is that legitimate?
Do you want me to check the code? Do we do it or do we do it after the show?
Do it.
Right.
Like, the fellow was convinced it was definitely real. I was like, well, if it's definitely real, we'll go with this. So, yeah.
Here we go. Well, what size did you buy originally? Did you buy a large?
No, it should be medium.
Okay, it is a large.
If it's a large, send it back here. I'll have it.
but it's a Japanese large, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, it's medium.
Which is like, right, let's test it. So if anyone ever wants to check their shirt, yeah, that's it. Nike 410. I assume they wouldn't have a template.
I wouldn't imagine so. But then again, maybe. Quite possibly.
No, we're good.
Nice.
So I'll show everyone. If I share with you, I'll just put the
J
code
League
in.
shirts like non-league.
It's
You
literally
don't find
come
them.
up
You don't find many of them.
with six pictures, all of which are this shirt.
Nice.
So that's really impressive. I mean, J League normally goes. If you've done that under 20 quid, I am impressed, because J League is popular and hard to get, and the shirts themselves in Japan aren't that cheap, are they? So, yeah.
Fourth picture in is your number as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Number 3. Yeah, maybe that is the shirt. that's a different season. Yeah. So yeah, does it say a player name? Ugajin. I assume that's the player
You've
name.
done well for 20 quid there, I must say.
Yeah,
that's really good.
That's
a
why
lot
I was
of
confused.
details
I was
on
like,
it.
there's no way that's legit for 20 quid. But he was like, no, it is. I was like, let's go for it.
J-League badge on that sleeve.
We'll have to start doing that ourselves, me and Charles.
The non-league. Yeah, for your TikTok, get each other a non-league shirt for. Well, it doesn't have to be non-league, but it would make sense with your branding. Challenge yourself, 20 quid each, or 30 quid, whatever you want to set your budget at, and you know, that's it. What do you end? You mystery shirt for each other.
Tomoya Ugajin is a midfielder, by the way, and he's currently 36 years old. So
and they've given him number 3, Tony.
Yeah, I think he was the third player ever signed. By the
I know some people will get some people will get upset about that, won't they? Giving a midfielder number 3.
Doesn't Endo wear number 3 for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think he does actually.
Yeah, he could be a CDM / left back. It's 1M1s on FM. You know, he can play anywhere. He might be on them. You have to have a look at him.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. There's some pictures of him actually in action. If we show up on the screen here, so he is wearing number 3 in the game here. Look, see, there he is. There's his number 3.
They're in the top division as well, aren't they?
They are.
I am very impressed with that, Tony. That's it's a nice shirt as well.
They moved the number lock.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different one of the shirts, isn't it? But where is it? Is the one with him with the? That's it. That's the kit there, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Cool. Yeah, I hate to say it. I think Tony's bought the best shirt. I really like that
shirt. Well done, Tony.
Excellent stuff.
Cool. Check the other code as well.
Yeah, get it done. Right. Site, if people want to find where you are.
Yeah, Somaggio footy shirts on YouTube for the football shirt stuff. Otherwise, it's Somaggio, I think, or Somaggio FM on Twitter. But I think on TikTok and stuff, it's a mixture. I just mix it up between football shirts and Football Manager. But on YouTube, they're separated.
That makes sense. And if you've enjoyed this, obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment and a like on the video as well, and follow us on Twitter at Footy Shirt Sock, because Twitter didn't let us have enough letters to make the full title. So you know what it is. But it's Football Shirt Social on YouTube. We're on TikTok as well. And obviously you can find myself on Twitch, which is Tony Jameson FM, or Twitter, which is at Tony Jameson. And we're all on Whatnot, all of us down here. Just all the links are below. But yeah, what we need to say is, Charles, Mitch, appreciate you coming on. Genuinely, it's been awesome chatting to you. Love the work you do. Everyone who's listening, watching, treat yourselves to a shirt. Go and have a little look, right? Check the links down below. And yeah, we will see you all very, very soon for the next episode. So take care, everyone. See you in the next one. Bye now.
Cheers, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.